a people pleaser wearing you out? Well, it is time to take a break, care for yourself, and learn to say no. Here to help us add this two-letter word to our vocabulary, clinical psychologist and author of Back in Charge, Dr. Adrianne Ahern. Great to have you here today.
Thanks, Renee. It's great to be here.
You know, it's so interesting because I think that a lot of us feel like doing a good thing is a good thing, but doing too much of it can really be a negative thing for ourselves.
Well, right. It's about taking charge of yourself, and also respecting yourself. Because, I have often said to my clients, one of the best things you can say is no, because it's allowing yourself to set a boundary that feels right to you and not letting yourself be overwhelmed by doing what all the other requests from others. Well, we're always getting requests from our boss, our husbands, our children. So saying no sometimes could be the best thing that we can say.
You have a really interesting and unique approach about really helping people to take charge of their lives and go for it in a sense of redefining boundaries. But you said it's really it can be an uncomfortable process.
Well, it can, and I'm big on saying become comfortable with being uncomfortable. Really, because it's when we say no, that's not an easy thing to do. In fact, that can be a whole lesson and take a lifetime to learn, certainly. But when we do that, and no, we can I often say, you can say no to something and not say anything else, because when we do give an explanation as to why, or we can't do this, or excuses, that we give them ammunition, the person asking, for it to continue the campaign toward what they want us to do, right? So sometimes we could say no and smile, or I prefer not to. So it's really taking, assertiveness and taking respect for yourself and allowing yourself to say it's okay that I'm not capable or desiring to do this right now.
Another example that you have of finding the courage to say no and really putting your voice out there is silence.
Absolutely. I'm big on saying that silence is golden. You can never be quoted.
Well, tell us what exactly that means.
Well, when we don't feel comfortable saying no, we don't feel, and sometimes we're just filled with all the excuses and discomfort, confusion as to how to respond. The best thing to do in that moment is to take a deep, calming breath and allow yourself to say nothing. In that moment, we can reconnect with ourselves, what's really important to us. And in that silence, we may find ourselves coming up with something that feels more congruent with what we want and who we are. But also, interesting thing, in that silence, the other person gets to hear themselves and their request of you or demand of you, and it may cause them to do a little self-reflection. So there's a lot of magical things that can happen in that period of silence when we're coming back to ourselves and taking that deep breath and reconnecting with our inner true self, so to speak.
Having the courage to say no, as you were mentioning, can be uncomfortable, and people in our lives that have been used to us saying yes can also be uncomfortable with that. So what sort of advice would you have for dealing with the people in our close circle that are kind of freaking out with our new behavior? Well,
I always say, be honest about what's going on with you. Some of us right now, particularly right now, are in transition. Not only in our jobs and what we want to do for the rest of our lives. And one of the things that we're doing tomorrow, we'll be talking about, is the journalism, the media writers that are finding themselves really in transition, not only in their own career, but also in what they want, what's most important to them. So I think that I really suggest being honest with yourself, and sometimes, again, it comes back to that inner silence and allowing ourselves to journal, meditate, and really be clear with what we want, and then we're more able to express that to the people that we really care about.
You're going to be talking a lot more about this tomorrow, and so we just want to encourage our viewers to head out to the Reuben H. Fleet Science Center, and you're going to be having a wonderful seminar from 9 to 1 tomorrow, so they can check that out, get lots more information, and then we are giving away 2 copies of your book and 2 copies of a DVD that you have out.
That's correct.
Well, thank you so much for being here today. A pleasure to talk to you, and we're glad we didn't say no to having you on today.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Renee.
Thank you, Dr. Ahern.